Hello, my distance learning friends. So today we are going to be learning about how to write a list. Now, when I say a list, I don't mean like a grocery list, or maybe you're making a list for Santa, where it just has a bunch of ideas and words stacked on top of each other. Instead, we are going to learn how to write a list in a sentence format. So at the bottom in the blue, our goal is I can write a list of items in a sentence using commas. Now you're probably wondering, Ms. Steiner, what is a comma? Don't worry, we're going to learn about them together. Here we go. So first, what is a list? A list is more than two things. That's important to know, more than two things. Coming on over here, it says, which of these are lists? I want you to help me decide which of these boxes have a list in them. Remember, has to be more than two things. Let's look at the green box first. It says blue, yellow. Are those words a list? Thinking back to what is a list, it's more than two things. No, this is not a list. It's only two items. Definitely not a list. How about the purple box? Dog, cat, bird, bug, pig. Is that a list? Does it have more than two items? Yes, this is a list. I'm going to put a star next to it. We're going to use it on the next slide. Last one, the orange box really quick. Is this a list? It says Minnesota. No, this does not have more than two things. It only has one thing in it, so definitely not a list. So this purple box, dog, cat, bird, bug, pig, this is a list. It has more than two things. Now let's learn how to put these words into a list in sentence format. Let's go to the next slide. So, how do I write a list? Some of my friends, if I gave them that list of words, dog, cat, bird, bug, pig, they would write a sentence similar to this, in the blue at the top. I have a dog and cat and bird and bug and pig. That sentence sounded a little funny. I would even say it sounded a little annoying. That's because there's a word that keeps repeating itself. Listen again, see if you can figure out which word keeps repeating itself. I have a dog and cat and bird and bug and pig. Do you hear the word and over and over again? Look at it, it has it in there 1, 2, 3, 4 times they use the same word and. That's kind of annoying to listen to. We do not want to do that. This is not a good sentence. Definitely not. Instead, here is how you write a list. In the middle box, it says only use the word and once. Not 4 times, not 3 times, not 5 times, not even twice, but only once. You are going to use commas instead. So what's a comma? A comma looks like, it's a kind of punctuation, and it looks like a little wiggle worm, I tell my students. And it's on the floor of the sentence. It's important that you know it's on the floor because there is another kind of wiggle worm that is in the sky that we will learn about later this year, but not quite yet. So it's a little wiggle worm on the floor. It's a kind of punctuation, and it's called a comma. All right, I'm going to take us off presentation mode here for a second because we are going to write those words dog, cat, bird, bug, and pig in a correct sentence using the word and only once and using commas instead. All right, so I'm going to type it in as I teach you about it. So I'm going to start the sentence out the same way. I have a, now I'm going to put my first word, which was dog. Now in the first sentence, this is where I put the word and the first time, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save the word and to use towards the end of the sentence. Instead, I'm going to put a comma, that little wiggle worm on the floor. Now, I'm going to list the second word because that comma is kind of like replacing the word and. My second word was cat. I'll do another comma, another little wiggle worm. Then bird, comma, bug, comma, and then here's where I'm going to use the word and. The word and goes between my second to last, bug, and last word, pig. And then, of course, I want to end my sentence with a period so that it is a complete sentence with all 5 parts. So my sentence says, I have a dog, comma, cat, comma, bird, comma, bug, comma, and pig. Now when I read it to you, I said the word comma each time I saw one just because I wanted to illustrate where it was. But if we were to actually read this sentence or say this sentence out loud, we would say it like this. And those little commas, they're almost like a little pause, a little place to take a breath. I have a dog, cat, bird, bug, and pig. You can try saying that at home, doing a little tiny pause each time you get to one of those commas. So this is the correct way to write a list in a sentence. You want to use the word and only how many times? Once, and it goes between the last and the second to last item. And we use commas in between all of the rest. So I put a comma after each one of my words, my items in my list, except for the very last one, because that's the end of my sentence. All right, maybe you can try to write a list at home today. Have a great day, first grade.